welcome anyway to our last reading of the year. Happy Krampus to you. If you don't know what Krampus is, you look it up. It's spelled with a K. It's definitely not the movie that's been released, which I do not endorse because I haven't seen it. So there. But you should definitely Google Krampus, 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 and prepare to be scared? I don't know.
All right, so I'm going to kick off the reading with that famous poem, "Twas the Night Before Christmas," just because, holidays. So.
Are you going to sing it?
No. "'Twas the night before Christmas, when all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, in hopes that St. Nicholas soon would be there. When out on the lawn there rose such a clatter, I sprang from my bed to see what was the matter. Away to the window I flew like a flash, tore open the shutters and threw up the sash. The moon on the breast of the new-fallen snow gave a luster of midday to objects below. When what to my wondering eyes did appear but a miniature sleigh and 8 tiny reindeer. With a little old driver so lively and quick, I knew in a moment he must be St. Nick. More rapid than eagles his coursers they came, and he whistled and shouted and called them by name. Now Dasher, now Dancer, now Prancer and Vixen, on Comet, on Cupid, on Donner and Blitzen. But I heard him explain, ere he drove out of sight, Happy Christmas to all, and to all a good night.
Okay. Now that I graduated, they're letting me read 2 poems, which is really cool. This poem is called The Rivers. I haven't written a poem in 2 months. And what that means is this body of mine suffers from inundation. Like the Nile, I swell. And it has been 2 months since I let my rivers flow. I am not a poet. I am someone who writes poems. The full-time occupation associated with that P title is an oarless raft that requires both arms submerged till the shoulders to keep it drifting. When something is a job instead of a calling, the balance of work to seeing the light is tipped unfavorably. And what that means is I find myself making excuses against catharsis. The result is the slow decay of a body already buried.
When I was younger and more innocent, I remember playing Mother May I, and I remember thinking to myself just how boring the game was. I remember the only part that entertained me was when one of my giggling cousins got too close to the mother, and when asked the time, she would snarl midnight, and she'd chase her children, screaming, back to their stronghold, their home. I remember in a moment of inspiration combining the best of Mother May I with the worst of rock, paper, scissors. And I remember when they came too close, replying with the barrel of my finger gun, and I chased them, screaming, back to their stronghold, their home, their fairy tale. And when I caught one of them, they'd be my minion, just as in reality, when you're grazed by a bullet that isn't as imaginary as the one in your childhood games, you become a minion to a number in that headline on the 11 o'clock news. Anchors shake their heads, families shed blood with their tears, Congress does nothing, and you have become out of many nothing, and you have proven that truly the sum is greater than the parts, especially when those parts no longer exist. There's a reason I always played the gun in rock, paper, scissors, and it's because nothing can stop a rhinoceros in its tracks. No rock can shield you from its charge. No paper can hold all you were and all you would have been. No scissors can sever this surgical instrument from my grasp, as finger meets trigger, meets bullet, meets body, meets list of mass shootings since Sandy Hook 1029, and counting, 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 and counting my final breaths until someone tells me, rock, paper, scissors, shoot, and means it.
Hey guys, I hope you enjoy the novelty of this stuff. One of the greatest poets in the English language is Thomas Hardy. He's also maybe the only great poet who's also a great novelist. There are some heights in Wessex, shaped as if by a kindly hand, for thinking, dreaming, dying on, and at crises when I stand, say, on Igpen Beacon eastward, or Willsneck westwardly. I seem where I was before my birth, and after death may be. In the lowlands I have no comrade, not even the lone man's friend. Her who suffereth long and is kind accepts what he is too weak to mend. Down there, I seem to be false to myself, my simple self that was and is not now. And I see him watching, wondering, what crass cause can have merged him into such a strange continuator as this, who yet has something in common with himself, my chrysalis. I cannot go to the great gray plain. There's a figure against the moon. Nobody sees it but I, and it makes my breast beat out of tune. I cannot go to the tall spired town, being barred by the forms now past for everybody but me, in whose long vision they stand there fast.